Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. We are here at NRA 2025 having a good time, hanging out, coming across some old friends, and none other do we have our good friends here from Meet the Pressers. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Awesome. How are you?
I am doing phenomenal. I'm doing phenomenal. How's the show going for you?
Very well.
You guys seem like you guys get busier every time I see you.
If it's possible,
Yeah.
just don't say no.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. We don't say no very often.
No.
That's for sure.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
Piling more on.
You've been on the show before. I haven't had both of you on the show in quite a. Well, no, I take that back.
Shot show
you guys on
last
the show
year.
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Shot show last year.
Yeah.
So for folks who are new to the audience, tell them a little bit about yourselves and about Meet the Pressers.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. Matt Mallory out of upstate New York, training company, PSNED, Public Safety and Education. Teach classes all around the country and predominantly in New York. Work part-time law enforcement, got a bunch of other businesses that I do on the side too, but predominantly teaching is my biggest moneymaker.
Cool. My name is Clint Macro. My company is called the Trigger Pressers Union, and I've been doing that professionally as the union since about 2013. Prior to that, I was Clint, like the instructor. I didn't have a proper company name. And the co-founder and administrator of National Train a Teacher Day. I'm the vice president of Firearms Owners Against Crime, which is Pennsylvania's Second Amendment organization. And I'm also president of Allegheny County Sportsman's League, and several other businesses, as Matt said, as he does. We're both entrepreneurs, and I do a lot of instructor training and I train my fellow Americans to exercise their right to defend themselves and those that they love all across the country. Part of the PDN training tour, I got dates coming up that I can talk about a little bit later on. But yeah, I too do not say no terribly often, which is why I'm very busy.
So now, tell folks, how'd you guys come to start doing Meet the Pressers?
So it was a class, UTM, and it was a show that I started prior to that. And Clint did some voiceover work and consulted on some audio and video equipment. And I show up to the class, and my co-host at that time didn't show up to the class, and he's like, "Well, where's Pat?" And I was like, "He took a job close to his house." And, "Well, what's up with the show? You got sponsors and momentum." And I was like, I can't do it myself. I'm doing too much, right? The one time you say no. And he goes, "Well, sounds like you need a new co-host." And I was like, "You interested?" He goes, "Well, hell yeah." And that was February 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And by April, we had a new name and kicked it off and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
It just keeps growing and just getting on more platforms, getting more exposure, more sponsors. The giveaway that we came up with, we rolled out in SHOT Show this year. So just always trying to find new ways to advertise and bring direction and focus to our sponsors and the industry as a whole, and guests that come on the show.
Yeah, he had invested a fair bit of money in infrastructure, man. He bought some gear and some microphones, and of course he did have some sponsors already. And you're giving this up, you should repurpose those assets, man. And at the time, a lot of people were saying, "Hey, Clint, you should be doing a podcast." And people like to listen to you yap and talk about the things you talk about. I'm like, yeah.
And we like to listen to ourselves talk too. So.
I do really enjoy listening to myself. That's definitely a thing. And actually, Rob Pincus said, "Hey, you should do a podcast." He was one of the ones telling me to do it too. And so all this was kind of happening at the same time. And when the opportunity arose, I was like, "Okay, well, cool, but let's do something that's going to promote both of our businesses." And at the time, it was really mostly to just kind of drive traffic to our classes.
Absolutely.
It's certainly blossomed into a lot more purpose than just that now. But so we decided, okay, the logo should be half my logo, Trigger Pressers Union, half PSNED. So we put those together, and it kind of looked like the Millennium Falcon. And we put a crest over it. What are we going to call the name of it? And went back and forth with a few ideas. And selfishly, because Trigger Pressers Union is my company, I said, "Hey, why not Meet the Pressers?" It's like Meet the Press and Trigger Pressers, and it's controversial, and
if we get sued,
and we might get sued, and that'd be publicity. And he goes, "All right, sounds good." And he says, "But people are going to think it's Trigger Pressers Union."
They still do.
So the technical name is Meet the Pressers with Matt Mallory and Clint Macro. So we put his name first on it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool
Sounds
thing.
like a good compromise.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, so here we are, like 7 years later.
Yeah.
Like an old married couple.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Now, how often
My
do you
work
guys?
wife.
How often do you guys do the show?
As often as we can. I
Yeah.
mean, when we do shows like this, we'll bank up interviews. I think here at the NRA, we will probably be at 20 interviews by the end of the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some are live, some are recorded to go up on the TV show. And
Yeah.
then classes, we're teaching classes here. We'll have 6 classes total, one per day each, that we've been teaching over the weekend.
Yeah, we try to put out one of our traditional shows. You know, they're like at about a half hour, some of them up to an hour. We try to put one of those out at least once a month. And you know, as we stack things up, we're still using some of the footage we shot at SHOT Show. You know, we did a ton of interviews at SHOT Show. It was
40.
crazy.
40 interviews.
Yeah, that was absolutely unprecedented.
Insane.
So, you know, and like for instance, one of the interviews we did at SHOT Show, I put that together with one of our Zoom version interviews that had a similar content. So I try to put one out at least once a month. Sometimes we do more than that. Typically, we don't do less than that.
Yep.
When we first started the show, that first year, man, we were doing like a show a week.
Yeah, one a week.
But you know, that was like right aroround the time of COVID, and we really didn't have
Yeah,
much
anything
else
else
to
to
do.
do.
Well, that's not true. We were training like crazy, but it was just something we were really putting a lot of time, effort, and energy on. But as our training schedule, it's hard to meet up. But one of the cool things about the Zoom versions, I can do an episode with my phone in a hotel room in you know, like New Hampshire or something. So we don't have to be in the studio to do it.
And I think the cool thing too, like when we came up with the idea to do the show, was the marketing arm of our training companies,
Yeah.
drive people to the classes. But in reality, it's flipping back around too, where the sponsors are getting access to our classes.
Yeah.
So they're sponsoring the show, but not just sponsoring the show. It's just not the show. It's also all the classes we teach full time
Right.
as a profession.
Yeah.
So which in a lot of the companies, this is something I learned early on. Any writer can go and say, hey, I'd like to T&E your product, and they'll give them a product, and a lot of times they'll want it back, or if they don't want it back, maybe, but these companies are like, yeah, how many products you want? Because we're getting it in students' hands.
Yeah.
And the students are touching it, which is more valuable sometimes than just an article.
Yeah, no, most definitely. There's no doubt that when you can do that, and it, you know, it's always once again multi-purpose. You know, for me, I wanted to talk politics, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we got the rundown. It was, you know, me and Mike. He was doing Arms Room Radio. I was doing Coffee with Craig, and
Yeah.
we were talking all guns all the time, which is fun. I mostly talk gun policy. He
Yep.
talked guns and gun policy, but I'm like, you know, I enjoy politics in general,
Yeah.
so I wanted to be able to talk about a broader group of stuff. And so, one, it's just an opportunity for me to talk politics, but it also opens up some of the media stuff that I do, media commentary and stuff like that. So yeah, when you can use this to actually as a kind of a
Stepping
Double
stone or double dip. I like that.
yeah, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm not making enough money to make a living off of it yet, but enough to pay for trips, you know, for me to come and do NRA,
Pay the
for me to
expenses.
go and do SHOT,
Right?
you know, stuff like that, for me to get the equipment that I need in order to be able to do it.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
it's an interesting thing how it's kind of taken over a lot of our identity, even because you know, we're getting more people that want to take the classes because of the show, which was the intent. But I'm seeing all kinds of folks just show up out of the woodwork. Oh, I saw that video, or I did a class with you, then I became and then Matt's getting clients of mine, and I'm getting clients of his. It's very cool. But you know, to your point about content, we really wanted it to not just be gun centric, although kind of the litmus test is someone has to be a trigger presser. So, you know, we've had law enforcement people, instructors, people who are involved in dynamic critical incidents, politicians. We will talk about politics and religion, and we will dive into those other topics that a lot of other broadcasts won't.
Which is also a unique thing. That we
But
do.
everyone has something to do with pressing a
And
trigger.
if we really want them on the show and never press the trigger, we'll take them to the range.
Yes.
Have them
And
just
we've
to
done
stay
that.
True,
Yeah.
Just to stay true to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk politics. So in other words, what you're saying is you're both Muslim Democrats, right?
Muslim Democrats.
No?
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, so in other words, you're Muslim Democrats who don't mind talking politics.
I would not necessarily say that.
I would not necessarily say that.
Like somebody walked by that's a Muslim Democrat.
No, just wanted to see the look on your face.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
I'm dumbfounded. Like, oh,
No malam alaikum.
Yeah, I consider myself more of a Shakespearean.
Democrat.
A Shakespearean multi-crat. Yeah.
Multi-crat.
But
I have no idea what that means, but
Yeah, sounded good.
sounded good. It really did sound good.
That's funny.
There's probably a website.
Yeah, probably.
If not, there will be.
The website for everything.
Soon. Where can folks find your program?
MeetThePressers.com, and then from there, subscribe to the show, and that's on YouTube, Gunstreamer, Friends of Asp on the Asp app, YouTube or Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and all the audio podcast platforms as well, iHeartRadio and such.
Yeah.
So, well, gentlemen, thank you so very much.
Thank
One,
you.
for all that you do. Number two, thanks for hanging out. You guys have been very good friends in the 2A community. Now, one thing I will say about the 2A community, you get a chance to meet a lot of different people. You get a chance to meet a lot of jerks, but you also get a chance to meet some really cool people. And you guys, I count you amongst that group of people.
We're honored, and
I feel the
likewise.
same way, yeah.
Thank you, man. Love you, bro. Love you, bro.
Yeah, I know you're wrapping up, but we had the same conversation when we left last night. And coming from the music industry and the film industry, you never see guitar players saying, "Hey, man, want to play my guitar?" Like, that never happens.
Motorcycle riders, here, want to ride
You
my
go
bike?
to the range, you're like, "Hey, you want to shoot it?" Well, I don't have any ammo. That's fine here. You know, it is definitely a different crowd. And yeah, you're going to get jerks in anywhere there's humans, there's going to be a jerk there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think largely this community is much more open and welcoming and supportive of one another than any other industry I've ever been involved with.
Well, I think because we're a group of people who, our rights to even exist is constantly under attack.
Yeah.
And we're constantly having to justify, an exercising of a fundamental human right, which is self-defense.
For sure.
And I think that really does bring people together. You're talking about shooting other people's guns. So when I was out at 2A Freedom Fest last month, Mike, as a surprise, took me out to a machine gun shoot. Now, being from California,
Yeah, right.
I don't get to do that. Oh my God, it was so much fun. And I had just, here, come shoot this. Here, take that, shoot that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing all this shooting. I'm thinking to myself,
Cops coming?
that was a cool way to get rid of a couple of $100.
I was going to say, $50, $100.
Not really practical, but fun as heck.
Fun as heck. There you go. Fun as heck. But anyway, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, folks. Well, once again, another successful interview. Got more coming here from NRA Annual Meeting 2025. Y'all have fun. Take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Peace.